What's going on, beautiful people? It's Lamont Cordell back with yet another video. And today I have a very special guest, but y'all already know I got to hit y'all with the introduction before I do anything. So go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's That Ordinary Podcast with the extraordinary thoughts that tells you to stop being great and be extraordinary. Bro, you already know I'm happy to be here, man.
I got a question for you, brother. So I know from time to time I call you Meech, but I know your name is Demetrius.
Mm-hmm.
Which do you prefer to go by?
I'm still up in the air. You feel me? Like, I'm still up in the air because as I write things down, it's always, I write it as Demetrius.
Okay.
When I'm introduced to like crowds and stuff like that, it's always Demetrius. But when I interact with people and we click and we family, you feel me? I would just prefer to just be called Meech.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? Because I prefer that family, because everybody can call you by your nickname, but I mean, family calls me Meech. You feel me? So like, I just call me Meech.
That's love. That's love. Well, I just got to ask because I know you go on a podcast and it's Demetrius Thigpen, but then on your Instagram, the title is OMG is Meech.
You know, I'm thinking, like, I'm not going to change it, but it's been up in the air as I continue to grow and stuff like that, and people come to me, they're like, OMG, it's Meech.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking to myself, like, one day you're going to get announced as
OMG is Meech.
You know, but I love it because, one, it's so hard to get an Instagram name and be able to keep it. Because it's like so many people fighting for that name. Mm-hmm. And I done lost OMG as Meech a couple of times.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm just going to keep it as that. I do have the Extraordinary Podcaster, and up under OMG as Meech is always Demetrius thing.
You know what's funny for me though is, and call it kind of, you know, grimy if you want to, but I always got a extra Instagram. So if I got a handle that I like, I'll go and I'll change my main one to the one that I want to use, and then take the one that I had been using and put it on the other one, to where if I ever want it back, I just swipe it back.
Always.
But the biggest thing for me is that I identify the same issue. I had a bunch of different names that I was going by on my Instagram, but I realized that at some point, you know, not only do all social media platforms have to coincide with one another, so when people find you on a different platform, they know that they have the true person on the other one as well. But I don't want to be called out by half the names that I put up there. So I'm like, you know what? I use Lamont Cordell, even though my name is Lamont Hicks, but Cordell is my middle name. Mm-hmm. There's a long reason why I don't use the Hicks part, but I won't get into that.
But Lamont Cordell sounds like it's a more filling meal, if that makes sense. You
I appreciate that.
Like if I picked up a book and I got the book in my hand, I'm like, this evaluation of life. Wait a minute. Sir, you gotta buy that. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. You feel me? Like, so you gotta buy that. Give me a second. Give me a second. This Barnes and Nobles, right? All right, I'm gonna call you. I'll be right back. You feel me? Like compared to like Lamont Hicks, all right? So it sounds short. It's a heavy book for such a short name. You feel me? Like, it's one of those. And I realized, and I've seen it done before because they did it on one of my plaques. It was like Demetrius Meech Thigpen.
Gotcha.
And I'm pretty sure, like, you know, when I get introduced and when I start building more, I would do that Demetrius Meech Thigpen, because you gotta think about it. Eric Thomas, we refer to him as Eric Thomas, but a lot of people just say E.T.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's just...
And ain't nothing wrong with that.
And ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, so you can go by both, you know, as long as that when you forward with it, Demetrius Thigpen. Like, if I've done an interview with somebody or I've been on the show with somebody, they do refer to me as Demetrius. If we fifth interview in, we done develop some type of connection.
Oh, yeah, we family now.
You know,
go ahead.
You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. Just go ahead and just say Meech. Right? Like, let's just keep it short. Let's keep it going and stuff like that. Plus, it develops that comfortability. You see what I'm saying? Because not a lot of people even knew my name was Demetrius. My white family don't even know my first name was Demetrius. They think my name Demarcus. You know? So I had to tell them.
That's wild.
Bro, for real. I don't know where they heard the name Demarcus. Mind you, that caused a major conflict.
I was about to say, you know what happened?
I looked over and it was like Demarcus. I looked over more. Demarcus. I was like, this go ahead.
You got the eyebrow up like, hey, look, we're going to talk after we leave.
I was like, wait till we done here. Wait till she go to the bathroom. You know, we're going to have this conversation. It's like in front of the kids. In front of the kids.
In front of everybody.
They knew my name is Demetrius. You know? And because everybody just always knew me as Meech. You know what I'm saying? So one, it was also just a self, you know, it was liberating because I never even referred to myself as Demetrius. I always led with.
Is there a reason behind that?
Meech was just something I was just so comfortable with saying. I've always just said my name is Meech. I always said my name is Meech. And for the longest, I would just say that my name was Demetrius Holloway.
Gotcha.
And the reason why I used Holloway instead of Thigpen was because that was my father's last name.
Okay.
And my father wasn't in my life. So I'm like, this ain't even in my life. Why am I going to use his name? But yeah, man. So like, you know, Thigpen, you know, it means swindlers and thieves. So I used to hate my last name. You know? Especially when people would find out.
Yeah.
You know, because at one point they had looked it up and everything like that. And I was just like, oh, this can't be real.
Yeah.
And it don't help that I come from nothing but swindlers and thieves. You feel me? Like my daddy been in jail, his brother's been in jail, my aunts have been in jail. You feel me? I've been in jail. You see what I'm saying? So like coming into this and embarking on the motivational speaking and actually like legitimately accepting me allowed me to actually start professionally introducing myself as Demetrius Thigpen.
That's awesome, man. Well, it's good that you found your way past that and you're looking at it like you're going to develop a new meaning behind that. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what you're doing. For y'all that don't know, the real reason why we're here is because Demetrius here, including myself, we're aspiring motivational speakers. We're looking to not just impact future generations, but the current generation to help them impact the future generations. And we both come from kind of like the same background where we are United States Marines. He is a martial arts instructor, teacher, trainer, and I was a martial arts instructor. And, you know, so we both kind of have the same path. The big thing is now we've found different direction or new things that we're invested in, and we're looking to grow from that. But we got two completely different perspectives when it comes to it. I was just speaking to Demetrius and was explaining to him that his output, the amount of content that he puts out there, it's exhausting. And he was telling me that lately he's been running a little rag. You want to elaborate on that? You said you've been exhausted lately.
All right. So this month alone has just been nothing but exhausting. And, you know, obviously we did the martial arts instructor course, you feel me? And it was just such a blessing to be able to work with such like fine gentlemen because the staff was phenomenal.
Yes.
The students, you know, like it was beauty to see something that you built from ground up, but it just takes so much toll. Not only am I doing the martial arts instructor course, I'm still putting out content.
Yes.
I'm still doing the podcast. Mm-hmm. Not to mention, I ended up blowing my voice out, you know, because
I remember that. Yeah.
I scream.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to give me the exact same energy. I want that back. So I gave that.
Yeah.
And I'm showing up on my podcast like, all right, look, guys, I normally don't sound like that, man. Here's the backstory. You know, because I'm like this, all right, this is an extraordinary podcast. And because my voice, and I can't even articulate because if I say it too loud, my voice will crack.
Yes.
So right after that, boom, I go straight into a last corporate seminar. And now I'm still teaching, still putting out the exact same content, still putting out the exact same type of energy, and it's starting to take a toll. And I said to myself, because here we are now on the Labor Day weekend, we get these days off, and I still got interviews lined up. I still got to show up on this show. Somebody's coming on my show. I still got to show up to this. I got to go to a mixer later on. And I'm thinking to myself like, oh man, like just time out and just sleep in. You feel me? Not only sleep in, but you know, just don't even put out an episode. Yeah. I grabbed myself. I looked myself in the face. I said, so how dare you? How dare you? See, this is the thing that I understand is that you sit back and you tell everybody to keep that exact same energy regardless of the situation. You sit back and you done sat here and cried at one point being in the military. You done cried, you got angry, you've been upset, you've been all of these things and you have always given 100%. So now here you are with your dreams on the table. You got your reality that you're trying to make come true for real. Yes. You got all of these aspirations that you say you want, and now you want to take a day off. Why? Because you ain't got nobody over here telling you that this is the mission, this is what you need to execute. You ain't got nobody over there looking at you saying to yourself like, hey, I need you to do this or you're going to let them down. I had to ask myself, because at the end of the day, the person I am going to let down is me. Yes. And it ain't the me now. It's the me that I'm going to be in the future.
Got you. That's beautiful.
Me? Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that because as we embark on these type of journeys, and a lot of people that start businesses or pursue new passions or even just go to the gym, you see what I'm saying? This is you. You see what I'm saying? But what you're trying to do is allow the person that you want to be to come to life. You gotta allow that person to be birthed into this world, but based off of your decisions, based off of your ethic, based off the energy that you give out, is going to determine whether or not this person is even born.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. And one of the biggest things or biggest pieces that I can add to that is, you know, I find myself, even somebody that has already created a YouTube, I already feel like my voice is getting out to as many people as I can right now. But even with that, I find myself struggling with the days where I'm sitting on the couch and I'm telling myself, maybe I shouldn't. I was just telling you the story right before we started this, that, you know, I knew I needed to release a piece of content. And in my head, I was like, all right, you know it needs to be done. Get up, make it happen. So I did. I grabbed my camera, got up, started recording. I instantly realized, or once I went into post-production, realized that something's wrong with it. And now I'm thinking to myself, scrap it. You don't want nothing to do with it. I'm done. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to chill back on the couch like nothing ever happened. And now no content is being released. My voice is not getting out there, and I'm losing one opportunity to help impact somebody, if anybody. And now what do I do with that time?
It's gone.
It's gone.
Or you just revert back to the couch like, I'm sorry that I left you.
I'm going to go watch people on TV doing what they want to do for a living while I'm sitting here complaining and making excuses for myself to not be able to do what I want to do in the future. Mm-hmm. But I'm lining their pockets while I'm sitting on the couch instead of pursuing my dreams.
And it's crazy because, you see that on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. And I always say this is that there's somebody right now driving to a job they don't want for money that they need.
Yes.
Whole time they drive and they got their feelings, they got their admirations, they got their dreams. You see what I'm saying? In the backseat of that car.
They in the trunk.
You see what I'm saying? In the trunk. And then they go and they make somebody else richer. Yeah. They make somebody else's dreams into a reality. They push somebody else's passions. They make somebody else happy. And they have the audacity to come home, look their kids in the eye and say, follow your dreams.
And the biggest part that disturbs me about that is, like you say it all the time on your podcast. You know people with $1 million ideas, and they're not executing on them at all whatsoever. And the scary thing about that is you got people that do want to live normal lives where they go to their 9 to 5 and ain't nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, if you're one of those people that have something that you feel sparking you and you're not doing anything to help bring that dream into fruition, then what are you doing with your time? You sitting on something that could potentially either make you the money that you want or give you the lifestyle that brings you the happiness that you want. It doesn't always have to be about money, and that's where a real common misconception is. I tell people all the time, when I talk to people, I tell them I'm going to be a multimillionaire. Me and my wife have already named the person that's going to clean our showers and our sinks and stuff, because at the end of the day, happiness is found in doing the things that you want to do a lot, and not having to do the things that you don't want to do. So I'm not trying to be rich for the money. I want the time that I can spend doing the things that I want to do. And at the end of the day, if I have the ability to spend some money or pay somebody to do the things that I don't want to do, enhance their life while I'm also enhancing and enjoying mine, then am I doing somebody wrong?
You feel me? And that seems like it's we can say it. But when you talk about like I feel like we talk about commitment.
Yeah.
You feel me? And it's so easy to say that, and it's so this is what you want. And you gotta speak it into existence. You feel me? And I sat there as I was driving and I had to go to the mixer.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, I don't want to go. I don't know these people. I met this guy on Instagram.
Yeah.
You feel me? I'm about to go and they might sacrifice people. All right. I don't know how
I'm a sacrificial lamb right now.
I'm gonna get sacrificed. Like, you don't know these people. Ain't nobody know where your location at.
Yeah.
You feel me? I almost did a video like this. Hey, look, I'm out here, all right, just in case things don't work out. You know,
some Blair Witch Project.
For real, man. Yeah. And although I'm going to the most extreme, you see what I'm saying? Naturally, I'm also an introvert, so I don't like talking to people. I get an attitude with somebody if they interrupt a conversation that I'm having with myself. For real, I'll be in a room full of people sitting there. And I'm in depth having a conversation, agreeing and everything. And somebody's like, hey, man, trying to spark a conversation. I want to be like this. Hey, man, I'm already talking to myself.
You should be talking to me, bro.
Like, see the conversation I'm having with myself. So I went and I was so blessed to go. You feel me? Because I met so many people that just had so many of the exact same dreams, so many admirations. And it was like the room was so much brighter. Because a lot of times, like we said, a candle cannot lose its flame by lighting another candle. In fact, it just makes the room brighter.
Boom.
And you could look at the Hubble telescope and see how bright that room was because there's just so many ideas just being exchanged, so many connections being exchanged. I felt so professional because I had business cards. I'm leading them like, I need my business card.
Yeah.
So I felt so professional about it. But I walked away so rejuvenated. And a lot of times, like, we want to embark on this journey. We want a better life for ourselves. We want to establish these things. But the first thing that you have to do is leave your comfort zone. And we said it. In order to live comfortably, you're going to have to create comfort.
And that requires you to be uncomfortable at some point. And that's one of the biggest things. Like you said, commitment. It's a commitment piece. A lot of people don't realize that your dreams are on the other side of commitment. That the moment that you decide that no matter what is getting thrown in my way, my path, that's me getting sick, that's the kids doing something they shouldn't be doing, that's work calling me in at the last minute, then on the opposite end of that, if you got a dream that you want to pursue, commitment is still executing on that dream, even after you're exhausted from the things that life has already thrown at you.
Absolutely.
And that's the difference between those that become successful and those that don't. And what's the biggest piece of advice you think you can give for those that are having a hard time finding their way to commit?
Now, the biggest piece of advice, and I actually got it from a John Rubin. He's a master trainer in Muay Thai. So he's like, he making senseis, essentially. And if you were still winning, would you still want to quit? If you were winning, would you want to quit? And the way that I say that is that if we can love something when it's going good.
Yes.
In fact, you could be in a relationship with somebody and you could be madly in love with them because y'all clicking, y'all vibe. Now I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. What if y'all were arguing every single day?
Boom.
What if y'all were having disagreements about stuff?
Okay.
Now those thoughts of, yeah, just leave them. Or yeah, I don't want this to work out. You see what I'm saying? Would you still be in love with that person like you was on the day that y'all got married or the day that y'all met? Would you still be able to keep that exact same energy if you're losing now?
Now, boom, fast forward, and you look at people, we live in a generation where everybody says they want to be one of those couples that they're married for 70 years, and oh, look at that old couple. But the thing is to be one of those old couples, it takes that commitment. It takes you to be able to look at that relationship, understand that at one point we were here, we are now here, we're growing. Commitment is necessary to move past the struggle that you're in. And no matter what it is you're going to do, yes, we're applying that to relationships, but you can apply that to business. You can apply that to any entrepreneurial venture that you're embarking on.
You have to.
You're going to have a part where you struggle. And the only way that you come out on the opposite end of that still successful is by committing and doing the work even when it's not desirable.
Absolutely, man. And just to switch it onto the entrepreneur side and the business side and the dream side, actually, is that you wanted to execute. You see what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure if anybody that's ever started a business as is now flourishing, would you want to quit that business if it was successful?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Rake it in.
You feel me? But it's not that. It's got to get to that. You see what I'm saying? You got to lose 6 rounds in a fight before you get your first win.
Gotcha.
You gotta hit rock bottom in order to finally see the full vantage point that you actually had. You gotta come from here to go here. And the hardest part is because it's not doing what we wanted to do right now, it's so easy to walk away from it. So you gotta ask yourself, would you still quit if you were winning?
And that, like you said, that's a beautiful question. And I feel like we're overly obsessed with the overnight success, if you know what I mean. And the messed up thing about it is if you talk to anybody that's quote unquote considered an overnight success, my apologies, 9 times out of 10, they were not an overnight success. They worked through the struggle in order to get where they are. The only thing that we're starting to see is where they finally started to get the wheels spinning and started to reap the benefits of all the hard work that they put in. And we look at that and we're like, oh, they came out of nowhere. Overnight success. Not taking into consideration that when we start doing our own things, that's not how it works. We see the glitz and the glory. Y'all can't look at what we got going on right now and understand that there's a light there, there's a light here, there's a bunch of stuff going on in here to make it look the way that we want it to look. And with that being said, there's a piece to it that you're not seeing from their life. You just get to see the end state. So right now, you can look at this video and be like, that looks good, everything's fantastic. But if you were to flip the camera around and show everybody what else is going on, they'd be like, okay, there's a little bit of work that had to get put into that in order for it to look the way that it looks. And again, that could be applied to anything.
You know what I mean? Like, you gotta look at it like, say you made an omelet. Everybody gonna show up like you made a 5-star breakfast. I'm talking about it's grits, it's oatmeal, it's omelets, it's bacon, eggs. You even threw in some I said eggs and come on.
I don't know. Maybe.
You get what I'm going. But you know, it's toast. You even threw in some croissants in there and stuff like that. Everybody rushing into the kitchen to eat.
Boom.
Ain't nobody opened up the garbage to see what all was in there.
Or everybody went to the dinner table to sit there and look at everything laid out. The finished product, they lifting up all the platters looking like, hey, it look fire. But ain't nobody walking in the kitchen to see all the dirty dishes.
I love it. And that's how you gotta look at success. You see what I'm saying? Because right now, man, we can grab our phones, we can scroll through, and everybody's gonna show us their highlight reel. Everybody's gonna show us their best moment. That couple that people aspire to want to be. You see what I'm saying? You don't know the argument that they had in the beginning. You don't know the argument that they had
last night.
You see what I'm saying? The business that you're seeing, because like you mentioned, Amazon. One of the biggest business in the world is bringing in so much money. When they got that divorce, his wife became the third richest woman in the world. That's how much money is being brought into the business. Yeah. Ain't nobody gonna talk about Amazon when it was built out of a shack.
Boom.
You see what I'm saying? And they had this call people and be like this, hey, you mind if I deliver your stuff for you? You see what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna talk about that. We look at our favorite rapper and we see the album. We see him on TV. We see this, but ain't nobody gonna talk about how he used to have to sell his mixtapes for free.
Or the fact that they're padding their closet and then have a microphone in there in order for them to record their album.
Man.
And I watched my brother do stuff like that when he started making his music. We pad the closet. We had one little jank microphone in there, and that's how he recorded his music. But nobody looks at that and thinks to themselves, that's how you get the success. They just see where they are, where they're buying whatever they want and going on the trips that they want. And they think that, oh, in order to be successful, I just have to say I want to be and have an idea for it. But really, at the end of the day, what it is the execution. It takes you to make the first step, and then once that first step is made, continue to put one foot in front of another and until you get where you want to be. Now, if you get to a point in which you feel you're comfortable, ride it out. Stop stepping. Throw your feet up.
And it's like, success is like, everybody wants success. Everybody wants success. But before you even get to success, you got to understand there's a process. You see what I'm saying? And not a lot of us want to trust the process.
Yes.
Because the process is called failure.
It is.
You know? And we think that's on the opposite end. Like, okay, if I'm not successful, I must be a failure. Absolutely not. Failure is a part of the process. You got to think about, like, if you play Pokemon, you get those starter Pokemon. Nobody want to bring in, nobody ain't about to bring in this little creature and think that he about to help you save the world. But you got to understand that with experience, this character will evolve.
Yes.
And that's what you got to look at. You starting off with failure. You starting off with an attempt. It's going to evolve into failure. You can stop right there if you want to, or you can keep putting in experience. Next thing you know, your failure has now evolved into your success.
Boom. And that's a big piece for me. And it took me a minute to understand that success doesn't mean all wins. It means that you failed enough in order to know what is not right to do, what's gonna get you a negative outcome. Exactly what works was gonna give you a negative outcome to where you say, okay, well, I know that didn't work. Let me try it this way. And before you know it, you've developed a bunch of skill sets or a bunch of different things that you know that are gonna be lead you to victory. And you just put those in place. They're all stepping stones. And it takes so much failure before you ever find the recipe to success.
I mean, a good example, man. I mean, like if I open up a new Instagram account, I got 0 pictures, 0 followers, 0 followers.
Yes.
I post my first picture. I might have, like, I don't know, it gave me a couple of suggestions. We use those suggestions as word of mouth, people that know me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would have my first picture, best picture I put up, it only got 10 likes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, on a different spectrum, I would want to pull that picture down and see if it gets more likes. But this is the best I'm going to be able to do.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? I increase, my following increases, people follow me more. That picture that I got 10 likes, next picture I put up, they ended up getting 40 likes.
Boom.
You see what I'm saying? Keep going. Next thing you know, but the whole time, I got a timeline of other people who already had Instagram accounts before me.
Yes.
And I'm looking at their pictures that aren't that good. You see what I'm saying? They're getting 1,000 likes. How? You see what I'm saying? Getting more likes than me on my extraordinary day.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Have more followers than me. You see what I'm saying? But I keep working at it. I keep applying it. Next thing you know, my followers have increased. My picture now, it got 100 likes. Oh,
and somebody looking at your profile now trying to figure out why theirs aren't doing the same thing.
There it is.
It's a vicious cycle that we live.
You know, but it's such a strong example of embarking on your dreams. It's such a strong example of keep going.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times we get so many examples in life, we ignore them. You see what I'm saying? But the key to success, you just got to look around.
Yeah.
You holding the key to success in your hand. Don't even realize that. I mean that in a literal sense.
Yeah. And it's the truth, though. You look at it, and even with today, you needing a degree in order to be successful, right? And not knocking college at all whatsoever, but legitimately, you have the ability to learn any and everything with the device that's in the palm of your hand or in your back pocket.
You know,
all day long.
You know, and that comes from like a generational thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because you got to look at it. We live in a completely different generation than what our parents lived.
This is true.
And their parents lived in a completely generation than what their parents did.
Yes.
Prior to us, They were told, if you go to college, you will be successful.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Anybody that doesn't end up going to college is going to have to work a blue-collar job or something like they're going to be a trash man. They're going to be something of that nature. You see what I'm saying? So in order to be successful, you have to go to college. We live in this age now where that's not really the case. If your product is pure, if your talent is pure, if your ambition is pure, if your commitment is pure, you can be successful right now.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? You hear it all the time. You know, the guy that's successful, he used to say, I used to sleep in my car. What? Here you go, I got a house and everything like that. And you telling me that you don't got a leg up to be successful. I'm gonna tell you what it is. You lack commitment. You lack ambition. That's what it is.
Boom. And I fight myself with that every day. And I had a discussion with you about that earlier as one of those things that I deal with personally, that I'll come up with, I'll find an excuse. And what I've realized, and the messed up thing is, I know all the things. I know the brain likes to take the path of least resistance. So if I tell myself, hey, let's just get comfortable. You know what? You don't have the light or the microphone necessary to make that video. You can't do it good anyways. Just sit back, enjoy this TV show. My brain's gonna be like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that. And like we said, you got to be able to push your boundaries. And instead, you going to the mixer, instead of turning your car around and going home, you talked yourself out of that. You pushed your boundaries and went to the mixer. And like you said, you left feeling enlightened and with a completely different perspective than you had headed to that event. So, you know, it's about pushing boundaries and commitment.
Absolutely, man. And I always say to the person that wants to start something is that commitment is not something that's like, oh, I'm just going to stick to it. You got to stick to this thing if it's good, bad, or ugly. You see what I'm saying? And, you know, the question is going to be, when do I know when I don't want to do this no more? When you stop loving.
Boom.
That's it right there.
That's it. All right, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to.
Oh, please do.
If you got one thing that you could give to these young men and women and the fellas and ladies watching this video, what would be the piece of advice, the one piece of advice you'd give them to set them off and to get them to get the wheels spinning on what they want to accomplish in their life? What would it be?
If I could give anybody just any advice, it would be to follow your dreams, follow your passion. And you said it before. If you go to a graveyard, it's the most richest place in the world. And the reason why it's so rich is because it has unfulfilled dreams there. It has passions that die, a reality that never set foot. And in that graveyard, it's so sad because it's just so many $1 million ideas. Every single day we have a $1 million idea. There's somebody right now that's sitting with $1 million talent, but we'll sell it for somebody that's going to give us a salary. We'll exchange it to take advice from somebody that's not even willing to give the advice to themselves.
Man.
And then we lose this passion because we accidentally tell our family and our friends. So if I could tell you anything, one thing that I'm going to tell you right now is that that's your passion. Those your dreams, those your feelings. That's not their job to feel that. And if you ever really look at it, go back in time and look at Cinderella. When the clock struck 12 and she left that slipper there, the prince went to the entire town and he had everybody try that shoe on. Everybody tried that shoe on, but for some reason it didn't fit. But as soon as he gave it to Cinderella, the shoe fit.
Boom.
And that's your dreams. Those your passions. They ain't for everybody. It ain't supposed to be for everybody, because if it was for everybody, then everybody would have the exact same dreams and passion. That's your dream. That's your passion. You got to feed it.
You heard it from him, ladies and gentlemen. Follow your dreams. Don't be one of those people that lose a multi-million idea or lose your dream life because you are willing to settle for comfort. With that being said, Demetrius, Meech, brother, where can they find you at, man?
And just like that, another extraordinary thought left this ordinary mind. Follow me on Instagram at OMG It's Meech. Once again, that's OMG It's Meech. Tap into the podcast, Extraordinary Thoughts for Ordinary Mind. Oh man, we on YouTube right now. So speaking of YouTube, so Extraordinary Thoughts for Ordinary Mind is not only going to be on the podcast, where it can be available through iTunes and Spotify. We are launching the Extraordinary Thoughts for Ordinary Minds YouTube channel, so please go ahead, subscribe to the channel. I can't wait to share some information with you. You already know my brother's gonna be here. You know, he was already on the last episode. You know, we definitely got to have him on the new channel. Can't wait.
All right, with that being said, I hope y'all took something valuable from this video. We're gonna have to link up a lot more. I think anytime me and him sit down in the same room and have a conversation is very impactful. But we'll see you on the next video. Peace, love, and happiness, y'all.